May 2024, Borussia Dortmund steps onto the grandest stage in European football, facing Real Madrid in a long-awaited Champions League final, their first since 2013-year heartbreak. Dortmund starts strong, carving out golden chances, but missed opportunities open the door for Real Madrid to do what they do the best: snatch the victory from the jaws of defeat. Yet, amidst the heartbreak, one man stood tall until the very end. A warrior, Marco Reus. Twice he reached the Champions League final and twice he walked away empty-handed. Loyal to Dortmund until the very end, yet the fate never awarded him with a Bundesliga title or the Champions League trophy. But trophies alone don't define football heritage. Some players collect multiple UCL medals from the bench, while others among the greatest to ever play the game end their careers without the one trophy they chased their entire lives. Today, we honor them. We will look at the greatest of those who were close to reaching the ultimate club football trophy, but never actually did. We present top 8 greatest players who never won the Champions League. A symbol of loyalty, elegance and genius, Francesco Totti takes the 8th place. A magician with the ball at his feet, Totti had a talent to conquer the Europe. But fate, and perhaps his unwavering devotion to Roma, had other plans. His closest shot at Champions League glory came in 2006-2007 season. Under Luciano Spalletti, Roma had built a formidable squad, playing fluid, attacking football. After dismantling Lyon in the round of 16, confidence was high heading into the quarterfinals against Manchester United. A hard-fought 2-1 victory at the Stadio Olimpico put Roma within a touching distance of the semi-finals. But then came the nightmare at Old Trafford, a humiliating 7-1 defeat, one of the most infamous collapses in the Champions League history, which shattered their dreams. For Totti, it was a devastating blow and cruelly the closest he would ever get to European immortality. Other chances came and went. The very next season, Roma once again reached the quarterfinals, only to be eliminated by Manchester United for a second straight year. In 2010-11 season, another glimmer of hope faded as Roma crashed out of the Champions League round of 16 against Shakhtar Donetsk. Ironically, Roma's deepest run in the Champions League came just after Totti's retirement. In season 17-18, the club reached the semi-finals, delivering one of the most iconic comebacks in tournament's history. After losing 4-1 to Barcelona in the first leg of the quarterfinals, Roma overturned the deficit with a stunning 3-0 win at the Stadio Olimpico, advancing on away goals. Though Totti was no longer on the pitch, his presence as a director and eternal symbol of the club loomed large. Roma would eventually fall to Liverpool in the semis, but it was a run that made Europe take notice. Yet, despite all the setbacks, Totti's name belonged among football's greats. His vision, technique and leadership could have defined Champions League nights on the grandest stage, and he had the chances to make it happen. He had offers from European powerhouses like Real Madrid, AC Milan and even Manchester United. He could have taken the easy road, chased glory and lifted club football's greatest prize. But Totti chose something far rarer: love over legacy and loyalty over silverware. Seventh place goes to Michael Ballack, a midfield general, a leader and a man who commanded the pitch with authority. Ballack had multiple chances on winning UCL. His first real shot at glory came in 2002 with Bayer Leverkusen. That year the German side defied expectations, stunning Europe with their fearless football. They knocked out Liverpool and edged past Manchester United in the semi-finals on away goals. With Ballack playing a starring role, scoring vital goals and dictating tempo of the game, it seemed like destiny was on their side. Then came the final, against Real Madrid. Leverkusen fought bravely, but a single moment of magic changed everything. Zinedine Zidane's legendary left-footed volley, a strike for the ages, sank their dreams. Leverkusen, despite dominating large spells of the game, fell 2-1. A move to Bayern Munich followed, where he cemented his status as one of Europe's finest midfielders. He led Bayern to multiple Bundesliga titles, but in the Champions League, disappointment followed. Year after year, Bayern fell short, never making it past the quarterfinals during his time in club. Then came Chelsea. new league, new challenge, but the same burning ambition. In 2008, Ballack and Chelsea reached the Champions League final for the first time in club's history, a new high in the European journey. The opponent, Manchester United. It was a night drenched in drama and Moscow rain. The game went the distance, 120 minutes of relentless battle ending in the penalty shootout. Ballack stepped up and converted his spot kick with confidence. But then, the heartbreak. John Terry's infamous slip, Nikola Anelka's saved penalty, and Chelsea went inches away from the victory, but cruel fate intervened again. United lifted the trophy, making this another bitter near miss for Mikhail Ballack. But perhaps the most painful moment of all came a year later, the 2009 semi-final against Barcelona, one of the most controversial matches in Champions League history. Chelsea were denied multiple clear penalties, decisions that left fans, players and pundits in shock. When the final whistle blew, Ballack erupted in fury, chasing the referee down the pitch, arms raised and face filled with rage and disbelief. His protest came as an iconic image of frustration and injustice. He had given everything, but once again, the Champions League slipped through his fingers. Sixth place belongs to Diego Armando Maradona, a name that does not just belong in football history, it echoes through it. A genius with a ball, a magician on the pitch, an artist who painted his legacy in breathtaking moments, a player who conquered the World Cup and lifted Napoli to heights they never dreamed possible, but one prize always eluded him: the European Cup, which was a predecessor to today's Champions League. Many remember Maradona for his brilliance, unforgettable dribbles, impossible goals and sheer magic, but few realize just how close he came to conquering Europe's grandest stage. During his prime years at Napoli, he had chances to claim the club's ultimate prize, but fate had other plans. In 1987-88 season, Napoli entered the European Cup with high hopes. In the first round, they faced Real Madrid, but an early 2-0 defeat at Bernabeu, followed by frustrating 1-1 draw, crushed their dreams before they could take a flight. The following season, Napoli returned, not to European Cup, but to UEFA Cup. And this time they went all the way. They fought through tough opponents: PAOK, Bordeaux, Juventus and Bayern Munich, before defeating Stuttgart in the final. It was European glory, just not the one Maradona truly craved. By 1990, Maradona has cemented his status as an icon, leading Napoli to another Serie A title. But in the following season's European Cup, Napoli were kicked out in the first round by Spartak Moscow, after 2 goalless draws and a penalty shootout. Their campaign and Maradona's European journey ended in silence. With Argentina he ruled the world, with Napoli he conquered Italy, but the European Cup, that was the prize that always slipped away from him. Two Arsenal legends share the 5th spot: Patrick Vieira and Dennis Bergkamp. They came agonizingly close in 2006. Arsenal, against all odds, had fought their way into the Champions League final to face Barcelona. Vieira was gone by then, having left for Juventus the previous summer, but Bergkamp, he was still there, witnessing the final chapters of his legendary career. And what a story it could have been. Jens Lehmann was sent off early, leaving Arsenal with 10 men. Yet even down a player, they struck first. Sol Campbell's towering header put them ahead. For over an hour they clung on, defending with everything they had. A fairy tale ending was within the reach. But football can be cruel. Late goal from Samuel Eto'o and Giuliano Belletti crushed their dreams. Arsenal's best chance was gone. Bergkamp's last dance was over. The Champions League trophy that should have been theirs slipped away into the night. And just maybe, it was Vieira who they needed to convert that loss into a winning game. But 2006 was not their only shot. During the late 90s and early 2000s, Arsenal were a force in Europe. They had everything they needed: Bergkamp's genius, Vieira's leadership, and the magic from likes of Henry, Pires and Ljungberg. Domestically they were unstoppable, but in Europe, the big one always evaded them. In 2000, they reached the UEFA Cup final, only to fall to Galatasaray on penalties. In 2001, they reached the Champions League quarter-final. After 2-1 win in Highbury, they just needed to hold firm in Spain, but a lone goal that they conceded allowed Valencia to advance on away goals. And then 2004, the Invincibles, a team that went an entire Premier League season unbeaten. Surely that was the time, right? After a 1-1 draw at Highbury, a late goal at Stamford Bridge sent Chelsea through. Another golden opportunity was gone. For Vieira, the change of scenery did not help. He moved to Juventus in 2005, only to be knocked out by Arsenal in the quarter-finals. A year later he joined Inter Milan, but despite the Serie A dominance, they fell short in Europe. Inter finally won the Champions League in 2010, just months after Vieira had left. Dennis Bergkamp, ever loyal to Arsenal, never took his talent elsewhere. He never played for another club that could have handed him the Champions League medal. In both cases, it was not about talent, and it was not about effort. They had great teams, they had great moments. But fate, timing and sheer misfortune kept them from lifting the biggest club trophy of all. Fourth place goes to Zlatan Ibrahimovic, a football icon whose talent, charisma and extraordinary goals thrilled fans across Europe. Zlatan conquered league titles wherever he went, leaving a legacy of breathtaking moments. Yet the Champions League, the most coveted trophy in the club football, always remained beyond his grasp. Across an illustrious career that spanned clubs like Ajax, Juventus, Inter Milan, AC Milan, Barcelona, PSG and Manchester United, Zlatan dazzled spectators and dominated opponents alike. But each attempt at European glory ended in heartbreaking near misses. His greatest chance arrived in 9-10 season with Barcelona. Fresh off a historic treble, Zlatan joined an incredible team featuring Messi, Xavi and Iniesta. Everything pointed towards inevitable victory. Yet tension with Pep Guardiola demolished his influence on the pitch. In a cruel twist of fate, Barcelona fell to Zlatan's former club, Inter Milan, in a dramatic semi-final, just before Inter famously lifted the trophy under Jose Mourinho. Then was Paris Saint-Germain. At PSG, Zlatan spearheaded a star-studded lineup alongside Cavani and Thiago Silva. From 2013 to 2016, PSG suffered 4 consecutive quarter-final exits against Barcelona, Chelsea, Barcelona again, and finally Manchester City. Each defeat served as a painful reminder to how slender the margin between glory and heartbreak truly is. Even earlier stints at Juventus and Inter Milan offered only frustration. Juventus could not progress beyond the quarter-finals during his time there, while Inter consistently fell short in the round of 16. The ultimate irony, Inter finally lifted the Champions League in 2010, the season after Zlatan had departed. And also, Barcelona won 2 league titles in 2009 and 2011, and the year which was between those 2 victories was the only year when Zlatan was there. Whatever Zlatan did, it seemed like he was always in the wrong place at the wrong time to win the Champions League title. Or maybe Zlatan is too big of a legend and the Champions League trophy does not deserve to be lifted by him. What do you think? Third place, Lothar Matthäus, a player who conquered the world with Germany, dominated Italian and German football, and won the Ballon d'Or in 1990. He had more than enough chances to win the UCL. He came close, painfully close, only for fate to pull it away at the last moment. No loss stung more than 1999. That night in Barcelona was supposed to be his crowning moment. Bayern Munich versus Manchester United. Matthäus, at 38 years old, was finally about to lift the one and only trophy that had escaped him for so long. Bayern was leading 1-0 as the clock hit 90 minutes. The trophy was particularly in their hands, and then came disaster. First Teddy Sheringham, then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. 2 goals in stoppage time, 2 gut-wrenching blows that left Bayern and Matthäus in shock, disbelief and agony. From champions to defeat in few seconds. Matthäus could only watch helpless from the bench, substituted just 10 minutes before United's comeback. His final chance at Champions League glory vanished punished in the cruelest way possible. But this was not his first time. In 1987, a younger Matthäus played in the European Cup final for Bayern Munich against Porto. Bayern were ahead at halftime. Victory was within the reach, but Porto turned the game around with 2 late goals, snatching the trophy from Matthäus' grasp once again. In 1988-89 season, now at Inter Milan, Matthäus was part of a formidable squad that stormed the Serie A title, but their European campaign was cut short when they were eliminated in the UEFA Cup round of 32 by Bayern Munich. Another door to European glory slammed shut. Even when he returned to Bayern Munich in the 1990s, the Champions League remained a curse he could never break. Season after season, Matthäus and Bayern came up short on the biggest stage, and Matthäus ended the career without finally reaching the Champions League title. The silver second place is awarded to a goalkeeper who has earned 3 Champions League runner-up medals. Gianluigi Buffon, a legend whose gloves touched nearly every trophy imaginable, except one, the one which he desired the most. Across 20 Champions League campaigns with Juventus and PSG, Buffon played 124 UCL matches and came heartbreakingly close, not once, but 3 times, losing in 3 finals across his remarkable career. Buffon's first painful miss came in 2003 against bitter rivals AC Milan. After 120 tense, goalless minutes, the match went to penalties. Buffon became a hero, saving 2 penalty kicks, desperately trying to keep Juventus' dream alive. But even heroics were not enough. Milan edged out Juventus 3-2 in penalty shootouts. Buffon collapsed in tears, shattered by defeat. His teammate Alessandro Del Piero tried to console him, a moment that symbolized the heartbreak of coming so close. Second chance came 12 years later. Buffon returned to the biggest stage, this time facing Barcelona's fearsome trio, MSN. Juventus fought fiercely, equalizing through Alvaro Morata and sparking hope. But Barcelona's brilliance proved too strong. Despite Buffon's incredible saves, Barca secured a 3-1 victory, and yet another final was lost. Another dream faded away. And finally, at 39, Buffon faced perhaps his last true shot at the trophy, against Real Madrid. Early hope was ignited by Mario Mandžukic's sensational bicycle kick, leveling the score at 1-1. For a moment, it felt like destiny, but Cristiano Ronaldo and Madrid crushed that hope, scoring 3 more goals and winning 4-1. Buffon stood heartbroken yet dignified, realizing his Champions League dream might forever remain unfulfilled. Yet Buffon's reflection on these near misses was profound. In the interview, he said, "From a certain point of view, I will always be thankful to the Champions League. It gave me joy, emotion, and dreams I otherwise would not have." And finally, first place belongs to Phenomenon, a name that echoes through football history, synonymous with brilliance, power and genius. Ronaldo Nazario, the striker whose talent was so extraordinary, defenders would shiver just hearing his name. Through his spectacular career, Ronaldo had multiple shots at capturing European glory. His Champions League saga began with Inter Milan in 1998-1999 season. Though Inter reached the quarterfinals, failing to Manchester United's treble-winning side, Ronaldo played no part due to injury, an early sign of the struggles that would follow him his entire career. Then disaster struck. Ronaldo suffered back-to-back knee injuries that sidelined him for nearly 3 critical seasons, just when his star was shining brightest. But he returned, fierce, fearless and full of fire. With Real Madrid's star-studded Galacticos, the 2002-2003 season saw him produce one of the most iconic performances in Champions League history, a breathtaking hat-trick at Old Trafford against Manchester United. But heartbreak followed again. Ronaldo, injured after the first leg of semi-finals against Juventus, was forced to miss the decisive second leg in Turin, where Madrid were eliminated after 3-1 defeat. In 2004, Real Madrid collapsed against Monaco in the quarterfinals. Once again, Ronaldo was on the sidelines, nursing an injury. The following seasons brought more frustration. In 2005, Madrid fell to Juventus in the round of 16. In 2006, they were beaten by Arsenal. Ronaldo played both ties, but injuries and declining form had taken their toll. How could Ronaldo, arguably the greatest striker of his generation, or maybe even of all time, never lift the Champions League? His prime years were lost to injuries, and his moves to Europe's giants came just after or before their moments of triumph. Yet Ronaldo's legacy, as well as other players on this list, is not defined by what they missed, it's defined by what they gave. In case of Ronaldo, it was explosive speed, breathtaking goals, and moments of pure magic. Perhaps more than any other player, it was Ronaldo who deserved the Champions League title the most. What an incredible list of players, which actually shows that not winning some titles does not define players' greatness. Who do you think was the most iconic player who never won the Champions League? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. More exciting football content is coming on the way, so stay tuned.